Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Clay from Clay's Collections, and it has been a while. December has been a very busy month for me, so I haven't posted any videos other than a few shorts because yes, we have to prioritize in life, and for me, unfortunately, it wasn't creating YouTube videos. So, I'm glad you guys are able to see this one. Cindy and I went to the bins. Actually, this is the second trip because I went the Friday before Christmas, and I spent a whopping $1.93, the least I think I've ever spent at the bins. And so that'll be in the stuff that I show you today, were the few items I found then. And then today, Cindy found a lot of stuff, which is good. She bought some things for our daughter and for other things around the house. I bought a number of books, and I found some great ones, great children's editions, first edition on a number of these, and they are like in incredible condition, even though they're quite vintage. So that's good. Excuse me, I've been froggy over the last month. I don't know what's going on. I know the air quality in Minnesota has not been the best, so I'm blaming it on that. Haven't been sick, just froggy. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this fun adventure we have of picking up items at a low price, selling them for a higher price, and trying to make a little money in the meantime. And yes, and just so you guys know, I am a part-time reseller, antique dealer, whatever you want to call it. And I do not sell online any longer. I only sell at an brick and mortar store called the Pink Elephant in downtown Hopkins, Minnesota, which is an awesome store. Come and visit us if you're ever in the area of the Twin Cities. It's worth a stop. There are actually multiple antique stores in downtown Hopkins, as well as some great other stores. So, trying to think, I'm drawing a blank. There's like antique vintage jewelry store. There's collectible store with comic books. There's record stores. There's a good number of great restaurants along there. So a lot of good things to experience while you're in Hopkins, Minnesota. So come on down, spend the day. Even book a hotel and spend the night and spend 2 days. You'll fill your time, believe me. Anyway, so let's get into the haul. But before we get into that, here's my Christmas shirt I got. Yes, promoted to Grandpa. Our granddaughter was born at the end of October, and she's doing well. And so we're excited to experience that of our first Christmas with our first grandchild. As some of you know who are grandparents, it's an exciting time. There's no words that can really describe how you feel in that. So it's good stuff. All right, let's get into the haul. I have a number of books, and then I have some other vintage items that I picked up. So I'll just start with some books. This one I picked up actually for my son-in-law. It needs a little repair. He does woodworking, a reverence for wood. Sorry, not reference, a reverence for wood. This is actually a nice vintage book. It does need some help, but it talks about all the different species of wood and their different characteristics. And it's from, I believe, 1970 something. 1965. First printing was November 1973. Second printing, June 1974. So this is the second printing of this book. And I'm sure they didn't print a lot of these. But like I said, it needs a little work. It's a perfect binding, which is what they call this, with the paperback cover and glued straight to the binding. And it needs a little re-glue. So we'll work on that before I give it to him. Got an itchy nose. All right. Then, the other thing, I always keep my eyes out, and I don't know why, but there's always tons of them in the bins. I shouldn't say tons, but I find them frequently at the bins. Let me put it that way. One of them is local books, which I do look for, but more importantly is autographed books. I'll go under like this. So this is his autograph, the author of the book. He's a photographer, local photographer, Rochester, Minnesota. So these are all pictures of Rochester, Minnesota. And I do look for local interest books because I do well with local interest books. You know, Minnesota, any towns, like there's different historical books talking about towns and how they developed and all that kind of stuff. So I picked those up for Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, North, South Dakota, because those are adjoining states. And they seem to sell well. So that's what I do. But I picked this one up because it's Rochester, and then I looked and it was autographed. So it goes in my autograph collection, which I'm getting quite an extensive collection of autographed books up here. Most of them are local books with local authors, but there's several that are well-known authors and quite valuable. So you find things at the bins mostly. Most of those came from the bins. There is one that I got the autograph personally. But anyway, so I have a new one to add to my collection. All right, let's get into some of the kids' books. Most of these I have never heard of, but I am not the leading expert on children's books. But this one is Big Max, the world's greatest detective. And again, these books are in like wonderful condition considering the age. Like this one is from, oops, this is from 1965. And these were well cared for. There's no writing in it. Doesn't even seem like it was maybe read once. And this one, The Strange Disappearance of Arthur Cluck. Love the graphics on it. These are I Can Read Mystery. And this one is from 1967. Again, look, especially with black. Black, you always see wear, but you can just see very little on the edges. So I'm like, that's good. I also always pick up Christmas books when I find them. I do well at selling holidays, Halloween, Christmas, Easter books. So I always pick them up when I see them. This one is Baby Kermit's Christmas. This one does have a name written in it. This was the only one I found that has a name written in it, but and it's not in the best of condition because it's got a stain on the front page. But the outside is in excellent condition. So that was a good find. Don't ask me why I picked this up, but I just thought it was fascinating. Will and Testament of Abdul Baha. Now, why someone would put that in a book, I am not sure, but I believe, I've not researched this, but this is 1968. This is the Baha'i Publishing Trust. So any of you familiar with the Baha'i faith, this was issued by the National Spirit Assembly of the Baha'is of the United States and Canada from 1944. So this is basically, published by their telling the followers of this faith what his will was after he died. So not necessarily in the sense of just his possessions, but will and testament is what he believed and what he wanted to pass on. So that's why I believe they did that. Okay, this one is My Hands. I never heard of this book either. This is a Let's Read and Find Out Science book. And this one was, I think, the 1990, all rights reserved. This is the revised edition of this one. I love this little book. It's Christmas Classics, Old and New Favorites from the Writings of Helen Rice Steiner. So these are just different sayings that she had about Christmas. So, I just, no fabulous illustrations or anything, but just mostly her sayings. I love this one. Stop that ball. Look at this tuba player. I love that. Being a former band member when I was in high school. And this one is a beginner reader, and it's from 1959. But again, look it's just in fabulous condition. It's with the exception of some staining along the bottom and a little dent. I'm like, that's amazing. All right, I'm going to switch over, get off the books, and go to a few of the other items that we found. Now, these are items I found in my $1.93 day. I'm going to save those two for afterwards. I found this baggie of vintage Christmas items. Just a little Christmas bow. But Nicole Northgarden, on her latest video, she showed where they found a bunch of these little vintage candle Christmas decorations. So you slip them over the candles. Some people clip them so they can just move them around. These are unclipped. So you would slide your taper through there, I assume, or put your taper, somehow get it on your tapered candle. But there's a whole bunch of them in different patterns. And I didn't get them down. My whole plan was to get them down to the pink elephant before Christmas was over, but it didn't happen. This one's got all of its little appendages. I just think they're adorable little candle things. And then what was interesting also was there were these things in there, which I wasn't sure what they were. They're these plastic rings. They're made in Sweden. These are new in package. And then they show you that they go on the electric candles. They go around the flame to give a little added dimension. They're called Maria Glorian. So those are kind of cool. There's a couple packages of those in there. Oh, and they have a couple of little light bulbs in there too. 23-volt replacement bulbs. I don't know. See, I haven't even looked all through oh, there's somebody's picture. Holly, Tony, and Paige, but they got cut out. The littlest one got her head chopped off. Yep, so that's what was in there. There's just more of the same ones in there. I thought that was a great little vintage Christmas haul, so that I will hold on to till next Christmas. Also, I found 2 bracelets in there. This particular one, for those who are familiar with Bible scriptures, this is 1 Corinthians 13, where it talks about love is patient, love is kind, it always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres, love never fails. This is a silver-plated bracelet. It is tarnished, and it is marked with the brand on here, and I'm trying to see. I'm not exactly sure what it says. So I'll have to look that up. And then there was this other one, which is also self-control, love, joy, peace, patience, faithfulness, gentleness. So both of these are 1 Corinthians 13 related bracelets. So I picked those up. I haven't found jewelry in the bins in a long, long time. So that was a kind of a nice find. And let's see. I'm going to put these back in the bag. All right. Let's get back to some books. All right. This one from today's haul is the only adult book that I found. It's Introduction to Physiological and Pathological Chemistry. This is a textbook from 1939. So yeah, so I have no idea if it has value. I haven't looked up any of these books to know what any value they may have, but sometimes these older textbooks I've done really well with. The Gray's Anatomy books from the 20s and 30s, even into the 40s, I've sold for $50 to $100 for the books. So these old medical textbooks can be very, very good. All right, Addie runs away. Run away, Addie, run, run. Oh, original publisher's price, $9.95. Wow. And this is the first edition, 1989. Again, beautiful condition. All right. And then The Missing Tarts. Love that. And this one, again, a first edition from 1989. So fun. A Weekend with Wendell. I just love these graphics. And like I said, I hadn't heard of any of these books. Benji's Boat Trip. Benji, the brown dog with the long ears and the short tail is how it starts out. Love that one. Madeline and the Bad Hat. This one's from 1990, but it looks brand new. Like it's been hidden away for 30 years. Berenstain Bears. Seashore Treasure. Oh, Benjamin and Tulip. Again, I've never heard of this book, but thought it was a fun little book. I did find when I got home, it does have some slight water damage, which it's from 1973. You can just tell there's a little discoloration. Oh, it shows up better on camera than it does in person, actually. Right along there. Anyway, moving right along. Then I have this Cut and Assemble Paper Dragons That Fly. This is from the 1980s. And I do well selling any of this dragon stuff, 1987. So you just take the pages, cut them out, and assemble your dragon. So, thought that was pretty cool. Then, let's see that. Then this was the last piece from today's haul. This beautiful tin with these roses and then glitter on top of the roses. This was a candy container by Mrs. Stevens. So I just thought it was a beautiful tin. Tins always sell well. And I've never seen one quite like that one. So I thought with the roses, it'll do well. So, okay. So then Again, my $1.93 haul. These were the books I picked up during that haul. This one, this Vikings book, Lost Worlds. It's the Vikings. And of course, being in Minnesota, the Vikings are big up here. Not only as a football team, but even the theme. But this book is fabulous. It's not a highly valuable book. I'm going to sell it for like $10. But it's got some big fold-out pages in it, which is really cool. Like this. You know, showing maps and different things. So, yeah, I just thought it was a cool book. People love that kind of thing. All right. Then I picked up, excuse me, What Manner of Man? A memorial biography of Martin Luther King. This is a paperback edition. And if I remember right, this was 1968. This is the memorial edition, first printing, 1968. So it was originally published in 1965. The memorial edition was published then after his death. So they reprinted the book. And A.A. Milne, When We Were Very Young. This is a former library copy. Holy Trinity School in Colorado. Oops. But again, it's Milne was the Winnie the Pooh author. So this was not a Pooh book, but it is a Pooh book. It isn't a Pooh book. It is a Pooh book. It isn't a Pooh book. I don't know. No, it's not Winnie the Pooh in here. It's just a bunch of different. I don't know. I've never read it, so I'm not familiar. Books for Boys and Girls. When We Were Very Young, copyright 1924, reprinted September 1961 in this new format. Okay. All right. Well, anyway. And then my last book that I just dropped on the floor is, again, a local book, Wetlands and Plant Communities of Minnesota and Wisconsin. This was put out by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. These, again, do well for me. These kind of technical manuals on local items. So that is all of our recent hauls. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I was excited. I found some great books. We'll get you next time.